Hey everyone, Sanjay here from Contriver podcast, and you're listening to Ment and this is the second episode of Ment and from this episode, I'm gonna divide this entire series. I'll divide this entire episode and publish one video per day, and I have made this video has sectors, and at the end of the week, that is on Sunday, I'll be publishing everything. I'll just join every videos and I'll publish it. If you wanna binge watch my videos, if you wanna binge watch about this particular mentors, it will be somewhere around 50 minutes for sure. You can watch that on Sunday. If not, if you wanna watch this every day, it will be divided into smaller pieces, just like 10 minutes, 11 minutes, 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, I'll try a lot to do it within 15 minutes. And in this episode, we are gonna talk about one of the world's richest man. So he was the top richest man, the highest net worth person from 1995 to 2017, and his current net worth is somewhere around $107 billion, and he owns. He's the founder, and he almost owns the world's richest company, the world's richest tech company. The company's market cap is 1.28 trillion, and yeah, obviously his company is the world's richest tech company. And this person that we are gonna discuss today, he just revolutionized the entire computer industry, the entire tech industry, and he is the person who just revolutionized the microcomputers. So yeah, you might have guessed it right. We are going to talk about Bill Gates, the man behind this entire computer revolution, this entire tech revolution, who had a dream to put a computer on every desk, on every home. So let's get started.
You know, if you're young, it's hard to go lease premises. They made that hard for me. You couldn't rent a car when you were under 25 at the time. So I was
this thing where you'd get an effort, which would be 1, 2, or 3, and then a grade. And so the ideal I always wanted was an A3, where you had the least effort but the highest grade.
Hustling in the wings, always plugged in the juice. Battle ring is the place, always struggle, never lose. I start to count, when it hurts, no excuse, cause my goal is huge.
Bill Gates was born on October 28, 1955, and he was born in Seattle, Washington. And his parents always wanted him to pursue a law career, but what did he do? And when he was at the age of 13, the young Bill Gates, he was really into programming, and he programmed himself a tic-tac-toe game. So not a TikTok that people do nowadays, a tic-tac-toe game like this. And after that, Bill Gates was so fascinated about this game. Why? Is because he designed that, but the truth is a machine could play with a human, and a machine can compete with human. So he was so fascinated by that one particular thing, and after that he just joined a school. His high school was done in Lakeside School, and in that particular school they had a computer. When he just joined, after some days they just bought a computer. Computers was pretty expensive those days, and the computer was Teletype model 33 like this, and this was the first computer that Bill Gates used. And what happened was, he and his friend Alan, what did they do with that particular thing was, they just programmed a software, and they just started a venture at the age of 17. So Bill Gates just started his first venture at the age of 17, and the main vision, or the main objective of that particular venture was to program a traffic data processing software. So what does that really mean? In the sense, the company name is Trafo Data. What does that really do? It monitors the highway traffic, the roadway traffic of that particular city, and that would store that information and it would process that and would give the output. How fascinating is that? And back then there wasn't fancy machines like keyboard, mouse, monitor, all that. He just did that with that particular computer, and after that he was so fascinated about that. And then what they did was they just programmed a new program. No, they just programmed the software just to monitor the payrolls. So once Bill Gates just did that with his friends, I mean a bunch of his friends, and once that is being done, he was so fascinated about the computers. He just wanted to learn a lot. He just wanted to play a lot with computers. So he just got a deal from their school principal saying that if you could just program this particular software for us, we give you the computer time. So PCs and computers was pretty expensive those days. If something would go wrong, it would be a hell lot of expenditure to fix it. But his principal know that Bill Gates was a great person. I mean, he's a genius, and he could figure out what to do with that particular device. So he just completed that particular program, and once that is being done, he just got lots of computer time, and he used to work, he used to read lots of manuals, he used to read lots of stuffs about the computers, programming, all that. He and his friend Alan was so interested in that. And soon after that, many people just tell you that Bill Gates is always a F student, he just fails a lot, he's a dropout, all that. He's a dropout, fine, that's really true. But he's not really a failed student, he's not really a F student, he's a good performing student. And here's Bill Gates has to say something about grades. And the lesson that I really learned about Bill Gates in this particular thing is if you are really serious about grades, and only then you get some respect in your home. If you need some respect, you have to be serious about the grades. Why is because back then studies was really important. It was really awesome. I mean, if you could just complete a degree, you would get an awesome job back then. And here's Bill Gates talking about grades.
Through 8th grade, I was sort of enjoying the fact that I could do reasonably well without any effort. They had this thing where you'd get an effort, which would be 1, 2, or 3, and then a grade. And so the ideal I always wanted was an A3, where you had the least effort but the highest grade. So my grades weren't all that great. And then in 8th grade, I had been at a private school for a couple of years and decided that I'd better start getting good grades, both in terms of having some freedom, the way I'd be treated, and thinking about college. So from 9th grade on, I had a reasonably spotless grade record. So that I got quite serious about grades at that point.
After that, Bill Gates was really so fascinated, really interested in computer and all those technology stuff. In 1975, a company called Alter, so you might have heard about Alter, Hypermesh, all that. So mechanical students know that. It's a software company as well as they are into a bit of hardware. So there was a company called as Ment Alter. So that's the company. They just designed a computer called as Alter 8800. It's like this. So this was a computer that was so revolution at that particular time, and it has a processor Intel 8080 CPU, and Bill Gates saw this as an biggest opportunity in his entire life. He just he used to read lots of magazine newspapers. He just saw this in the Popular Electronics magazine, and what did he do was he just called that company, saying that METS, the company name is METS, MITS, it stands for Micro Instrumental and Telemetry System. So that is what METS stands for, and he just said that we are ready to program this computer, and it can do tons of things for you. We are programmers who are pretty famous in basic and basics. There's a programming language called as basics, basic, BASIC. So in that particular programming language, we have an expert and we have programmed for your computer. So let us give a demonstration for you. So Bill Gates just said that, and they just said, okay, fine, we stay in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so you can come to us and give a demonstration about your particular software. And when that really happened, Bill Gates didn't even program that thing, but he just said we have programmed that, and after that they just started programming it, and Paul Allen was there with him to program everything. And once that's done, Bill Gates just went through and they just wanted to demonstrate their software in front of the altar people. And he was somewhere around 20 at that particular moment. Paul Allen was a bit older person compared to Bill Gates. And the company people just felt like, these are just kids. What do they know about this computer? What would they really do? And Paul Allen just asked some interesting questions that do you have this input and output? Where do you really connect your input and output in this particular system? All the stuff he really asked, and they just really got shocked that our computer could do certain things. They have designed it, and they are the people who have designed the hardware, but they didn't have a knowledge that how does that really work, and what is the one thing they didn't have a concept as operating system. How would that particular thing operate? And these guys just showed them how would that thing operate. And this is a great lesson that we can learn from Bill Gates. So people feel like these people are these people are just kids. What would they know? You can always prove people wrong, that they are wrong, and when you just prove that they are wrong, people just go overboard. They just change things dramatically. So here's Bill Gates talking about that particular event.
If you're going to start a company, it takes so much energy that it better overcome your feeling of risk. I don't think that you necessarily, if you're going to start a company, should do it at the start of your career. I think there's a lot to be said for working for a company, learning how they do things. If you're young, it's hard to go lease premises. They made that hard for me. You couldn't rent a car when you were under 25 at the time, so I was always taking taxis to go see customers. And the people would, people would say, well, we're going to go have a discussion in the bar. Well, I couldn't go to the bar. But that's fun, because I'll tell you, when people are first skeptical and they think, oh, this kid doesn't know anything, then when you show them you've really got a good product and you know something, they actually tend to go overboard and they think, whoa, they know a lot. Let's really do an incredible amount with these people. So our youth, at least in this country, was a huge asset for us once we reached a certain threshold. It's hard to hire older people because they'll be a little bit conservative about whether they should come and take the risk. And it took 3 or 4 years before we could go out into the normal sort of employment pool. But those problems that come with starting a firm, you better think of those as part of the pleasure, part of the challenge that is part of the excitement.
After this particular event, Bill Gates and Paul Allen just got hired by the Mets company, MITS. So Paul Allen was working over there, but Bill Gates was into his education, into his degree. He just joined Harvard, and what really happened after that was they were also working, they were also brainstorming about different computers, and they were working really hard. And when Bill Gates know that he has a awesome career in computers, and when he has an awesome opportunity in his computer thing, he just wanted to start Microsoft with Paul Allen. So they just wanted to start a partnership firm, a partnership company. So that is nothing but Microsoft. It has a dash. I mean Microsoft, and later they just changed. I'll talk about that in my further videos. So he wanted to start Microsoft, but he's a student as of now. What would he do? So Bill Gates just took a great decision at that particular time, at that particular moment in his life. He just talked to his parents. His parents was so supportive, and he just said that if things hadn't worked the way that I really wanted, I would always go back to Harvard. And he was just on an official leave. He just said he needs a leave, he needs some leave for something, and he started Microsoft. If things weren't working as he thought, Bill Gates would have quit Microsoft and he would have joined Harvard again. And here's Bill Gates. The lesson that we can learn from this particular speech from Bill Gates is, if you really have a unique or something that is so fascinating, and if you have a great time dependent thing, it's okay to leave your degree, but your degree is really important if you don't have something really revolutionary or something really unique or something really time dependent. And here's Bill Gates talking about his Harvard's he quitting in Harvard.
My parents had been fantastic throughout my whole student career. I mean, getting me to go to Lakeside, that my senior year at Lakeside, where I wanted to take time off and do this job at TRW, they'd been very supportive of that, letting me live down in Vancouver, Washington. I challenged them a little bit when some of my coworkers at TRW said I should skip undergraduate and just go to graduate school, and they were not enthused about that. It looked like I would have an opportunity to do that, but I didn't. I just went to Harvard, and that was another case where they were right, that, you know, socially being with other undergraduates was good. I got to take graduate courses up at MIT, and I did that to a limited degree, so I kind of had the best of both worlds. Anyway, when it came time to go on leave from Harvard, the policies of the school about if you're gone, letting you come back are incredibly generous. And so if the enterprise had failed, then, you know, I would have been back. You know, there's nothing better than a great college four-year experience. And I would have stayed to the end if it hadn't been for the urgency. You know, I watch lots of college lectures online now because, you know, I enjoyed that so much. So, you know, unless you have something that's really uniquely, amazingly time dependent, you know, it's a great thing to finish the degree.
So Bill Gates had a seat in scholarship. In fact, from his Lakeside school, he just joined Harvard by scholarship. He had a awesome grade. He just had 1580 for 1600. So even though he had lots of things on his head, he's a good student, but still he just left. Why? Is because he wanted to start a bigger thing than his studies. So that is why he started Microsoft. And the first break on Microsoft, I'll just stop this video here. So that video will be released tomorrow. So make sure you guys stay tuned for my channel. Until then, it's me signing off. Thank you guys. Bye bye.